Hi friends. Even though I was in the midst of listening to a new Adya Shanti lecture, he puts a free one up on his website every month. Rainbow time came and I just, although it's mostly, well, it's not as bright as it was, all the same I figured it'd be a good time to share the next journal, which is from June 9th, the first one. That day, the Mayan day was 5 dog, and I'm clueless what's in it, so let's find out together. It's also not named yet. Okay, here we go again. Seems I can't stop journaling, though that's not the case, of course. Yet the good feelings inside are so strong, it seems they must find an outlet. So I journal. How about you? I'm going to step out a minute here. I think so many people, see, during this time when these journals were flowing fast and furious, it was about 10 days, 2 weeks. And this is in the midst of it, or to the early part of it. So it was early June. Something changed then. Something was reset. Something's different. So let's keep sharing all the stuff that went down with us then and now. And it's fun getting to the bottom of it. Whatever it is, one thing's for sure, it's wonderful. Okay. An outlet. So I journal. How about you? How much in thrall are you to your life's circumstances there? Did you know that you need not give one iota of your power away to any circumstances at all? Is that a new thought for you? Well, drop down into heart with me and let's have a new look. In all that I share, all that comes through the journals, I am not talking about taking power over circumstances, about changing or controlling them, though mine tends to hear it like that. To me, that's a backwards view of living, of life. So stay centered within so that I may share this on that deeper level with you, that on a more deeper level perhaps than you've considered before. Oh yeah, I know many of you are well ahead of the game of life. You well know to live it from the inside out instead of the reverse. Yet perhaps there shall be somewhat for you here as well. So it's a fact that most people give a significant amount of their innate power away to the circumstances surrounding them, to the things that happen, to what appears. You can tell it in their wording. Things happen to them instead of things simply happen. They play the victim role in such cases without being the least bit aware of it. In the past, I have called this sleepling or sheepling, but please know I'm reconsidering that now. I'm betwixt and between. Meanwhile, though, what's clear is that much of the programming we received, mostly in school, has us in the victim role vis-a-vis life. That means we give things power over us, that's all. It's nothing negative. Stay out of mind with this and everything, of course. Go back to mind later. For now, mind the treasures of your heart. So, I will take a short break, a pause, to share how it is that, to me, nothing at all is negative. Now, it will take some discipline, perhaps on your part, to stick to heart for this. Mind will tempt you, perhaps strongly, to enter head. All I can do is tell you that the best goodies are reserved for those who retain their centered place. Stick with me to only self and now. Our freedom is found precisely this way. For now, at least, it is not our concern to solve the world's seeming problems. Let us start with our own. Once we've accomplished the resolution of those, only then will we be qualified to look out upon the world's issues with a mind to correcting them. So don't let mind tease you out, self and now. So I say that there's nothing you've ever done in your life that was negative. I go further. There is no such thing as negative. Oh, sure, there is negative and positive in addition and subtraction, but you don't find subtraction a terrible thing and addition always to be desired, right? Then what would become of your waistline? That just doesn't make sense. It's quite the same with your actions. Some subtracted, some added to the comfort of your life and those around you. Yet it was often from the subtraction that you gained the most in the end. For you learned things that stay with you to this day. So in this way we can see how positive the negative is or can be in its action. Life has circumstances. Mind would dearly love to be able to take these apart, to find out in infinite detail how things work. Mind would like to take charge of and change the circumstances of life. I'm sure you can see this. Yet, do take a quick glance back over your life so far. How much benefit have you gained from mind's way of doing things? How well has it worked? Now, perhaps it's not mind that's at fault here. Perhaps it is you. How about that? Perhaps it is you giving your power to run things away to your mind. Thus, you abdicated your rightful place there in the center where you are meant to reign over it all. There's a new thought, but don't take it to mind, please. Stick with heart. What I'd like to suggest is that there is simply nothing wrong with your life, or with you. Take that one in. Nothing wrong in the least. Not the tiniest bit. Sometimes it takes a thought like this to shake the tree enough for us to see our hidden assumptions, attitudes, and beliefs. Most of us don't look too fondly on the self. We've been taught not to. Now sure, mind will object, will want to lay out all of its problems, its woes, in nice, neat little lines there before you. Don't be taken in, stick to heart. There is nothing wrong with you because there can't be. You are an emanation of Source. You are divine. I feel some of you sort of flying apart at this. Just relax. Just be here for a time and listen. Be open. All you need to do for this now is to listen or read. Nothing else. No thought. I will issue an important reminder. That conscious mind that thinks it's been running the show is only 5 to 7% of the whole mind. Yep, that little bit. Now that's really important to know. Remind yourself often. It can help as you're sorting out your new relationship with mind, the one where you're empowered vis-a-vis that. You see, it's only perspective that's been out of whack for us, nothing else. We were forced, as it were, into a certain box, a very small one, Some call it the Matrix, but it has other names too. The names don't matter at all. Taking your power back is what matters most right now. Are you game? Then let's shift our perspective. We'll do it again and again by finding out that we are not limited to mind and also not limited to 3D. Well, that opens huge new vistas right off. So our perspective has widened already greatly. We are multidimensional. Do you know this? I mean, really know this for yourself. Have you any experience of it? If you've ever found your way into heart, then you do. Heart is the access point or portal to it all, to the all that is, to everything. So, sticking with heart gets even more importance in this light. Yet, it's the only sensible thing regardless. This is but the first taste of the treasure you own that can be accessed there. Heart has its own certain ways of viewing, and they are nothing at all like mind sees. That's perhaps because mind is an instrument to help us navigate 3D. And it does a great job of that too. Can't complain, and I'm not. I'm just saying that the real excitement, the real unlimitedness is found deeper within. Heart takes you places mind can't even imagine. So, let's use the right tool for the right job, so to speak. When heart looks out on life, it sees nothing as evil or awful or bad. Yes, I heard you, including the Holocaust. Nothing. Stick with heart, please. If you go to mind, it takes you out of heart. Things just are. And people are in their various stages of mastering all that's there. Some a bit more ahead, some lagging behind. There's truly nothing wrong with that. It's how we all chose to come in and play the game. Lighten up is something our hearts tell us, and often. Heart is just brimming with joy. A divine sort of joy, nothing human or of 3D. Remember, you are not human. You're divine. You've just identified with being human. Having a human body does not make you one. Heart helps you separate out from both body and mind, if you like. Free will reigns within. Heart never pushes or forces, not at all. Heart treats you always with gentle respect. Also divine, capital R. You are meant to reign over your life, to be every bit as much in charge of it as a king or queen. Heart knows this. Heart knows better than you who you truly are, so spend plenty of time there. Everything ever done by anyone is and was for the ultimate blessing of the all. Now sink deeper within, let thought go. It won't hurt you to have a look through these eyes, through this perspective. It won't hurt you. Your old perspective, your old glasses are there to pick up as soon as you're finished. You can have a neat trek. Meanwhile, look at it as an amusement park, if nothing else, okay? Everything ever done by anyone is and was for the ultimate blessing of the all. Now, stick with heart. I know that one was terribly tempting to mind, but remember to just ignore it. Don't let it jerk you out of your center that way. Well, I mean, not all of you slipped out, but some did. I'll say it again. Everything ever done by anyone is and was for the ultimate blessing of the all. It takes a good bit of perspective shifting to deal with this one. No, to dial this one in clearly. But when it comes into focus, oh my, what a view! This comes from a perspective sufficiently backed away and lightened up, not taking it all so very seriously, as to be able to take it all in. You are Source. Yes, you may have forgotten, but that doesn't change the facts. You are Source. And you, as Source, know what you're doing. You're not stupid, dumb, or a wimp. You are love. And unconditional love so divine it floors the human who tunes into it. And you, my friend, you are that. You, as Source, as the One, are in and behind everything. Everything that is composed of you, so it's not like you're distant from any of it. You know to the nth detail and degree what's going on. And you are love. Put that together. How do you think it will turn out? Okay. That was just a short meditation. Let's continue our look into circumstances and the power they seem to wield over most of man and womankind. People gave their power away to their circumstances. They do it all the time, unnecessarily. They don't even know consciously that there's another option. We've been taught that things are just meant to go like that. Comes it goes, right? Well, that's what you get for thinking, my friend. Now, let's look at it this time from heart. Those circumstances are a gift to you. They are life's best gift. They are designed, not in the least, to bring out the best in you. They are also there to inform you, to keep your finger on the pulse of what's what there within you. That's where they originate. Did you know that? Everyone's circumstances originate within the self. They arise largely, excuse me, I've got a skeeter here that's just really chowing down. Little fella, go away. Everyone's circumstances originate within the self. You see him up there, little guy? The camera makes him look bigger than he is. Originate within the self. They arise largely as a function of our beliefs. They are your belief garden in bloom. That's life, showing you what your beliefs look like, how they act, how they smell, what they do. I know many of you, I feel many of you, quietly letting that one sink deeply in. Good. I'm feeling it too. I don't know how or why it is, but for decades now, I've felt the people's response to the journals as I write. Go figure, right? It doesn't matter though, it just is. And if you let go of such things with your mind, you can just flow with it. And I found it to be really cool. Let's see, it doesn't matter though, it just is. Most of life is like that. It just is what it is. Okay, that little bit was to chatter enough to give you time to let the previous stuff sink in a bit. Hopefully it did that. These things, if you wish, if you allow, are changing you, friends. Hey, working with heart is transformative stuff. Don't fool yourself. You are changing right now. Those of you lost in mind and its ways are set on somehow finding a way to change their circumstances. They want to take this outer control. Well, let's leave them to it while we delve yet deeper within to where all circumstances originate, and deeper yet. What does heart say to this desire to change outer things? It says, ignore. It says, come back inside. It says, that comes from a superficial perspective. So then, what is heart's perspective on such things? Self and now. Always just that when you're in heart. Self and now. These are true keys to your power. Self and now. Nothing else. See to them and you will see to everything. It's also a good idea to drop all expectations, and I know that flies in the face of some of what Abraham teaches, but I have to be true to me. Mind would like to think that going to heart, it will find a new way to manipulate life, to alter those circumstances. Just ignore mind, okay? It's way off track. Self and now. How can that help? Does it help to know that you contain cosmos? Well, you do. So you don't have to go anywhere to visit any time or any place. You contain it all, just like a hologram inside. Keep remembering you are source. You are divine. You are the all that is. You see, when you're stuck with mind's view, then you are very small. You are this little human thing that walks this little inconsequential planet we call Earth, here largely by an accident of biology and birth. Well, that is a mighty powerless view. Mighty powerless. Interesting. One that the powers that were have trained us to hold. Do you begin to see, to sense? The keys to your freedom are found deep within. Unless you leave the head aside, even if just for a few moments now and then, well, you won't likely find them. Not as likely, anyway. You contain them, but that doesn't much help if you don't know it. It's like the prisoner who serves out his life sentence all the while with the cell door key in the breast pocket. So, having the key clearly isn't enough. One has to first find it and then know how to use it, right? I'm sure you can see that. Well, what is this key? It is a whole set of keys, the main one perhaps being knowledge of your divine identity, your origin and destination, and never left it, as source. You being that, well, you will live your life quite differently, that's all. Soon all shall see, those who are game enough to engage. It requires engagement, requires action on your part, you see. No, not the physical sort of action, though that will follow too. This is internal action. This involves your use of the sacred gift of free will. Many have that key in their breast pocket too, but don't make use of it. Time is to correct that, if that is your choice. You've got to respect you. Do you do that now? Do you really? Most of you don't. Well, not very well anyway. And some do at times. Some more and more frequently. Some hardly at all. Well, cut the self boatloads of slack, my friends. Recognize this as just the results of the programming we were all subject to, and lighten up. Just relax. She says, as she's got about a dozen bites from this little critter that she refuses to swat. You know, when I'm finished, I'll go get the jar and the coaster that I use as a critter capture thing and escort him out. Just relax. You are already perfect. Getting you to see that is my job here, the one I've taken on anyway. So let's move along. Do you respect and love Source? Now, you don't have to be in the least bit religious to do so, though being religious doesn't hurt either. Having a deep regard for Source helps us here. Makes it easier for us to learn to respect the self. We've been taught to identify with and to see from only the perspective of the body, the mind, only from 3D. Well, time to ditch that, okay? You ready? It's a fine view to have, but a lousy one when it's your only view. We've already widened the lens a good bit, so let's keep doing that. You are far, far more than can be seen through such a puny angle of view. It was by trapping us into this limited view of self that we were taught what horrible things we were, how terrible life was. That's what we were taught to believe. We had to be fearful, always out on the lookout, you know, dog eat dog, claw your way to the top, etc. That's the way we were taught to believe. Oh, it was more subtle than that, sure, but not by much. Ruining the earth, eating wrong, not exercising, blah, blah, blah. We've been blamed for it all. Taught to abuse the self at every turn. And you couldn't win, even if you did everything perfectly. You'd still have a pimple or some lousy habit or another. And maybe you know, if you're old enough, that you just can't please everybody. I don't care if you're a saint. Perfection wasn't even a remote possibility, not the way we were schooled. Well, are you ready? Ditch all of that too. It's all a product of that limited view. And soon, if not already, you'll see that for yourself. But for now, just shove all such stuff to the side. Ignore it for the duration of the journal anyway, if not for the duration of life. Now, as we enter down and settle down firmly into heart, what does life look like? How do we appear to the self? Friend, you are a radiant sun. And that doesn't even begin to contain what you are. It cannot be contained nor defined. We've passed beyond all boundaries of the mind here, deep within heart. We are totally, completely unlimited. Our vision is vast, vast as the whole cosmos, and more. Yes, more. Now, from this viewpoint, or as near as you've approximated it, look back down at your current life, because of course you can see them all from here. What do you see? If you will practice carrying heart vision as your viewpoint on everything, nothing will ever look or be the same again. All the limits are quite broken. You will never be boxed up like that, or in any way again, unless that's your choice. Isn't it nice to know that this is all up to you? That you get to decide? The real you, of course. How's that for a royal use of free will? That thing that some people think, that thing that some people are so limited they can't even see that they have it? Free will. Well, you do. And it's quite powerful too. The trick is that it's powerful in ways not accessible nor understandable to the mind. So leave mind aside. Don't try. Mind is your governor, your limiter. Now, for dealing with many things in 3D, this is fine, even ideal. If you were ever to appear there in 3D in your full glory, well, they'd erect statues of you and try to start a whole new religion, or it would be so glorious it would just explode the whole dimension, who knows. But we don't need any of that, do we? If you say yes, you get an F for the day. Stay out of mind. It doesn't need to show off. The secret to 3D is not to look at it only from its own perspective. Remember the old Einstein quote about not resolving things on the level from which they were created? Well, we've got to step back from mind and from our 3D life and from taking the self and everything so darn seriously. That will bring serious help. Your circumstances don't run you. They don't rule you. Instead, they provide you with optimum, with ideal opportunities to grow and expand your wings out. They are your feedback mechanism. Do you begin to see what is meant by this? I'm sure you do. Anything is possible. Anything at all. Literally. Don't limit the self. But most important, too, is to stay the heck away from mind when considering such things. Mind is out of its league in all such. Now, you may have to find this out the hard way, and listen up, that too is fine. Everything is fine. Yes, keep this to heart. It's not something for mind. Deep inner teachings got a bad name, not for themselves, but for the interpretations and translations put on them by those strictly in mind. They are misinterpreted every day of the week. Unless we are in heart, we are in no position to understand and to own them. They are yours, but it's very much like that prisoner with the hidden key. It's It's going to take some real engagement on your part to put this all together there in your life. It already exists in all its perfection and purity, but until you can see and directly experience it all, what good is that to you? You'll know you're doing well, you're moving into heart, when you find yourself less interested in conversing with others on such subjects when they're in mind. There's really no point, as we'll all soon be able to see. Until those others are also ready to engage and emerge, it's best to leave them alone. Actually, it's best to leave them alone anyway. It's not your job to wake someone else up. Self and now, my friends. See to that, first, last, and always. Then you'll get to watch and participate in the rest, just taking care of itself. Oh, it will work through you often enough, but you'll know it isn't you, the little you, doing that. You'll simply know you're being danced. Namaste. Now, off to catch that little guy. See you later.